Lewis, we look at him, obviously the Heisman Trophy winner, the career at Alabama. He's had a great career with the Eagles. Is there a giant leap now that A.J. Brown's gone and that maybe the production goes way up for Devontae, you think, this year?
No question about it. Again, Hembo, he's the very best. When you think about this logically, and you think, look, the number of targets and number of opportunities, you think that it's just going to automatically spike. Well, when you look at his production going back to 22, when A.J. Brown was there, and when A.J. Brown wasn't on the football field, look, Devontae, if you project that out over 17 games, you're looking at over 100 targets, about 105, 106 receptions, about 1,300 yards. That's what I would expect from him this year. I would expect him to go over 100 catches. He'd be a 1,300, 1,350 guy, pushing double digit in touchdowns, because that's the skill set. That's what the numbers say, objectively. And when you watch him and you watch his career, as Kimberly, referenced going back to Alabama, he's been a guy who has always thrived in the spotlight. He can thrive at any area of the football field, outside lane, inside lane. He's tough after the catch. He's tough in contested ball situations. I don't think anybody there will be surprised when he does have that breakout type of season. A little bit of a transition period because, look, we know this is a relationship business, right? No relationship is more important than the one between the quarterback and the primary play caller. And Declan Doyle now, under Jesse Minter's direction as the head coach, is trying to really integrate a lot of put in a new offense, integrate some young new pieces. They got 2 new rookie wide receivers. They got a new rookie starter at the left guard position in Vanga Ioane. They got 2 new young tight ends that they're trying to bring into the fold. And Lamar is sitting there, trying to, again, reestablish himself as the 2024 version of Lamar Jackson, where he just absolutely blew it up under Todd Monken. And then in the background, Baltimore is still trying to figure out how to get him signed to an extension. Because in 2027, that cap number that Lamar has on his contract is the second biggest in the NFL, only behind Patrick Mahomes at $84 million. He's $34 million this year, $84 million next year. Mahomes is at 90, which is just kind of mind-blowing. But they need to go ahead and get that thing kind of really figured out. And, obviously there's been a lot of talk about them trying to go ahead and kind of start this process rolling along. You don't know how that's going to affect Lamar and his mindset heading into this season. A lot of moving parts. Temper the expectations early on in the season.
You look at it internationally. Mbappe, Haaland had his moments. Messi, obviously. Can you now put Jude Bellingham in that conversation as far as international superstars on the biggest stage?
Today, yes, absolutely, because he's playing that way in this tournament. Obviously, context matters, history matters. He's only 23 years of age, guys. He's already got 7 World Cup goals. Harry Kane has 6 in this tournament. He's got the most non-penalty kick goals, Jude Bellingham, and they're massive goals in Estadio Azteca. There are a lot of people, as good as England is, that thought that game was for Mexico. And he said, hold up, I am here, 2 goals. And you go to the next game against Norway, 2 goals again. And they're not just the goals, it's his box-to-box movement. It's the way he transmits, and his play is so contagious for the rest and gets everybody going. He is the best central midfielder right now. I'm sure Rodri would like a word. Yeah. Rodri would like a massive word. But if you look at his impact, both phases of the game, there aren't too many players like him.
This has been a highlight on the baseball calendar since 1933. What do you make of the state of the All-Star game and the entire experience now that we're looking at it from the rear view?
Fragile. I think this Midsummer Classic is in a fragile state right now, and there's a lot of concern within the sport because so many players are opting out of the game, whether it's to be scheduled in the final weekend on Saturday and Sunday, making them ineligible to pitch or making the choice not to pitch. I mean, in this All-Star game, Jacob Mizorowski, the guy everyone wants to see, he didn't pitch. Paul Skeens didn't pitch. Cam Slittler, Aaron Judge was not there. Shohei Ohtani was not there. At Citizens Bank Park last night, a third of the stands had cleared out by the 8th inning. That is a concern for baseball to address as you move forward.
How about the way Dallas has approached this Pickens deal? What's your reaction to that?
Well, clearly, Peter, they feel as though the best version of George Pickens is the one that is hungry and trying to secure long-term financial stability in the form of a long-term contract. And they're just not comfortable going ahead and giving him financial security and signing into a long-term deal. And look, I guess you have to understand, where Dallas is coming from with this. They have more information than anyone else. They're the ones who were with him every single day last year. And look, they know he produced. They know that he had a heck of a season. They know that if he were to hit the open market, what he would command. They're just not comfortable going ahead and giving him the guaranteed money that he probably will get on the open market from some football team. To me, this sounds like a situation that is setting up for 2026 to be George's last season. George that last season in Dallas, George kind of realizes that, and that's why he said, hey, look, I'm going to sign a tender going here and just kind of rip it up this year and then let the chips fall where they may in the offseason in 27. There's really no other way to look at it.
We were 3 against 2 in the midfield, and against Spain, that's hard. I think we should have done man-to-man press and forced them to run with us. Herc, is Mbappe right to say that? And should he be saying that after a loss?
That's a great question. Should he be saying that? No, you shouldn't be saying that. It screams of sour grapes, and it also screams of maybe throwing Didier Deschamps, the coach, under the bus, right? That's his job. But the reality is, maybe they are better suited to have Spain try to run with them, because physically, athletically, Spain's not going to run with them. They don't have the athletes like the French national team, but they got it up here. They have the IQ. And the way they were moving the ball around, the way they were circulating, not only the ball circulation and taking the ball from one place to another, but the off-the-ball movement by the likes in the midfield of Dani Olmo and Oyarzabal, the number 9, coming down. It was a complete clinic. They looked like they were chasing shadows because France was chasing shadows. They were second to everything, Peter. And this is the most important thing here, is when you go up against a Spanish national team, you got to take the ball away from them if you got any chance. And they never did. It's deceiving because if you look at the possession stats, it's 51% versus 49%. They weren't overwhelmed. It's also deceiving because it was a total domination by the Spanish national team, but they had 2 shots on goal before the 70th minute, and both were the goals. The problem is that France never got in this and never had their own shots. All their shots came in garbage time. The game was taken where the Spanish national team wanted to take it, and in doing so, they dominated.
I was in the streets.
You're solely responsible for handing out the ESPYs to the best NFL player. Who would you have chosen?
Well, my pituitary gland is a little swollen, but I'm gonna work through it because I play hurt. I would say Matthew Stafford. I mean, how can he not be? You know, MVP. You talk about Myles Garrett. How did Myles Garrett's performance affect winning? They won 5 games. You put it in the mirror, you know what it is? 12-5. You know what was 12-5? The Rams, because of Matthew Stafford. And there's a lot he dealt with last year, not having a great defense. You talk about a bad special teams. You talk about 12-5, MVP of the league, 46 touchdowns. I don't care if they were all 1 yards to Devontae Adams. He had to get them down there, Gross.
8 of them were 1 yard, and 18 were 5 or less.
Do you agree?
How'd they get down there?
Do you agree with Bart's pituitary
I
gland?
thought the concussion thing was a bit until he started talking. There's no way it could be. I mean, Myles Garrett, like to do what Myles Garrett did in those circumstances, to set the sack record for a team that never had a lead. I mean, imagine Myles Garrett. It was the best player in the NFL last year. This is not MVP. This is your best NFL player. Best. So that word valuable always trips us up when we have our MVP debates. Not a problem here. Best player in the league last year was Myles Garrett. 46 touchdowns.
Ross, to your point, I know it's the pituitary gland, concussion, whatever it may be. How about this stat from Hembo? Myles Garrett rushed the passer with the lead in the fourth quarter last year 71 times. The Rams, 186. So what he was able to do with, when you look at the home run derby, it's like winning the derby with half the at-bats.
That's the thing.
He went against Will Campbell. He got 4 from Will Campbell.
5. I was at that game.
5.
It was unbelievable. But, I mean, this guy doing something no one's ever done. Again, Matthew Stafford, great year. Jackson Smith and Jigba, great year. Drake May, great year. I would have voted for him for MVP. But Myles Garrett he's setting records. He's doing the impossible in an impossible circumstance. I can't wait to watch him play for a good team.
The defensive player, an opportunity to back your side of the
love
ball.
Stafford.
No, because
you really do.
Because I would want to see what he did against the run. You know, I played in an era where when you had guys that Vanderbosch get in the wide nines and go for the sack every time because that's the only thing they were going for, right? So they played the pass 100% of the time. Will Campbell gave him a hell of a jump start.
Right, I get all that, but again, at the end of the day, their offense was so bad. Like, he literally had half the opportunities as some of the other players in the league and still set the all-time record. Look, Stafford was great. You could say some of the touchdowns were inflated. I get that. But at the end of the day, when you set an all-time record on a terrible team, when you're getting doubled and triple-teamed every time, that says something.
All right, so those two are actually now on the same team. This LA Rams wagon that we're all supposed to be concerned with, I'm not going to say foregone conclusion, but are they going to run away with the NFC?
It's too. I'm never going to say that.
You got to commit right now. It's July. I need to commit.
There's too much that can happen. There's injuries that can happen. I will say this: they are under the most pressure to win the Super Bowl this year of any team. If they don't win this year's Super Bowl, it's a disappointment. We have that conversation all the time. Super Bowl or bust. Yeah. This year's Rams. Super
I will
Bowl
tell
or
you, they may have had a historic offseason when you think they also may have gotten the quarterback of the future in Ty Simpson. Oh, by the way, who won't even play this year.
If you look at upside, someone's potential, not right now, but 2-3 years from now, he has the greatest upside of all these rookies.
The top picks have looked fantastic so far through Summer League. Vince, you're in Las Vegas. You've been watching this stuff every single night. Take me through your thoughts on Caleb Wilson and how he kind of stacks up to everything else you've seen out there.
He looks ready. Like, that's the thing. When you look at number 4 picks throughout even recent history, the Con Knipples, Scotty Barnes, guys like that, you can find some pretty good value there. And I remember going into the draft talking to people. They were saying this could be the most talented guy that can develop, like giving you Kevin Garnett vibes. And when you're watching him play, at least for me, watching him finish in traffic, he doesn't panic. The defensive aptitude, like wanting to go block the shots, and the fact that he hates to lose a summer league game. The Bulls have had a lot of bad luck the past few years, not just in the draft, but just organizationally as well. Those guys are really, really excited about Caleb Wilson's future, and I have to agree.